Searchy, the end of your first season in men's management, your end of the first full season of the National League South in 2 years. Firstly, for some reflections, we're the third best team in Essex behind Colchester United and Southend United. For little old Concord, it's quite a decent result, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic to hear. You know, I think it's only credit to this group that we got the win today. You know, I think they've been fantastic for us. You know, we've been a young group. You know, we've had to go young this year. You know, the club, as you say, is, if you like, little old Concord. It's a tag we're trying to move. You know, we look at the crowd today. It's fantastic. You know, to see all these people out on a nice sunny day and the bar full up after the game. So, you know, it's something that we would love to try and improve is to lose this tag a little bit. But, you know, the boys went out there today, and, you know, to go 1-0 down is sort of, and Green to pop up in injury time to get a winner, it was almost written at the stars. And I did feel at half time at 1-0, I've said to the group throughout, and, you know, you as fans, like, very rarely does this team not score goals. You know, we scored multiple goals on numerous occasions. You know, I think there's only 3 or 4 clean sheets, maybe. You probably have to rectify that, but it's 3 or 4 clean sheets, I think, where Shipman and Hungerford, where we haven't scored. So I think, you know, if we can eradicate the sort of individual errors that we've shown as a young group throughout the season, there's no telling where this group can go. So yeah, I'm delighted with how we've ended the season.
What do you take from the season in reflection? What do you take from the season in reflection? Obviously, you know, we had that amazing start. The win against Dorking on the opening day, that 2-2 draw against Maidstone, which many of those who travelled there will remember as a fond day, as a good laugh, as well as a pretty decent result. But then, you know, that couple month period where we just couldn't seem to get a victory from, you know, kind of January through to February. What do you take from, you know, this season into next?
Well, I take a lot of hope, if I'm honest. I think the boys have shown some fantastic character. They've shown a little bit of naivety as a group as well. And that's something I'll take away. He's maybe managing the game. There he comes, Danny Green. Come and jump in, Dan.
You come get in if you want.
He's managing. Yeah, come and jump. Come sit on my knee.
Come get in the seat. Go on, take the seat.
Yeah, video on him, mate.
Anyway,
no, I think you know, to eradicate the naivety is one of the biggest things. You know, it's a word that I wanted to remove from our sort of dictionary, something we've used many a time this season. So if we can take that naivety out, you know, we've come mid-table and our goal difference is -19. You know, it shows that the naivety and win the group. When we concede, we concede numerous goals and we lose by numerous goals. You know, so if we can take that out and hang in games that we're potentially losing, but hang in there in sort of late on in games, you know, then it gives us an opportunity to maybe nick something. You know, I think there's games where we've gone and we've got back in. Hampson sticks out as a sore thumb to me. You know, we've scored a 91st minute banger, and we've gone to try and get the winner. You know, we should respect the point away to teams like Hampton. So I think overall there's a lot that we'll reflect on as we sit over the summer. You know, having some mojitos around the pools and stuff. And there's other things, to be fair to the boys. There's other things that we've got to give ourselves credit for. You know, so. As I say, like anything, it's a balance between the two. You know, if we can alleviate the naivety and the mistakes in the group, this team, as I say, if we can get one more year with this group, and that's what I want to sell them, is give us one more year to see what we can achieve. Then Shipman.
Come over, Shipman, come on! Look at him run! Where is he?
I made it a group thing.
Don't swear, you're on camera.
Did you not get the facts? Did you not put it in the waste paper basket?
You're fine standing. Anyway, Greeny, Shippo, now you've gate crashed. What do you take from this season into 2022-2023?
I think it's been a really, really good season for the boys and for the management staff. I think we've learnt a lot. I think it's been great working with the two boys. I think we come into the season blind, really, with a month to really get ourselves started, and I think we've done super. I think there's things we would change, there's things we'd definitely keep and look to improve on. But I think as a management staff, we will go next season knowing that we go to certain places or we have certain teams come here. We'll adapt differently. We'll adapt to the situation and we'll adapt to our surroundings. I think we went at it gun ho this year, thinking we can go to places but sometimes you can't. So, but as a group to finish joint 12th is unbelievable, and it's down to these boys, down to the players, down to the staff. It's been superb. Behind the scenes, yourself, like you and Kean, people like that. It's been Leachy, it's been outstanding. So yeah, really delighted.
Shippo?
Thanks for answering that question, Greeley. Cheers, mate.
Over to you.
No, at the start of the season we set ourselves a target, and it was 10th place and 55 points. Well, we're 6 points away from that. We were 14th, 10th. I think we've had a magnificent season for our first season at this level. Like the Greenies just said, like the naivety, we've learned a lot from that, and I think if we put that into practice next season a little bit more and a bit tactically now, so when we go to certain places, I think we can just kick on again. But we've got to up our game all over, off the field and on the field. So yeah, we'll look to do better next season again.
Next season, obviously, well, I suppose this season really came into it with obviously Wembley on the back of our shoulders, a big kind of turnaround of what happened in the summer with the club just in general, and Scopesy leaving obviously. But you had to deal with a big turnover, I suppose, of some players. The likes of Lamar and Pollock and stuff stuck around, but you had to employ a new keeper, basically a new back four, new midfield, new front four. So what will you take from that and that building process into next season? Any of you?
Oh, no. For me personally, it just shows the contacts that these guys have got. Danny and Shippo stepped up to the plate. As you say, it was almost a blank canvas that we had to start with, and a month to the season start when we got appointed, it's a little bit daunting. But we got our heads down and put together a list of players. Obviously, a lot of the players had probably been secured by other sides, but for me going forward, I think it's a case of never worrying. I think that with the contacts these guys have got and our relationships that we're developing with teams like Watford, Premier League at the moment, with how we've looked after Miles, 40 national games he's played this year, relationships with Colchester, there's other teams that are now reaching out to us, showing how we've looked after these boys. Cambridge, massive respect to them as well, so I didn't want to ignore them with Mams and Sims. Sims goes and makes his first team start the other week. Mams will be in and around it as well in the coming season. So I think when you look at what we offer these players going forward, it's a safe haven for them to come here. We trust in the youth because we have to trust in the youth. For us to use the loan market as we have this year, it's given us an edge and an advantage because our budget's our budget. So if we can go and nick a quick kid that we can develop and help, and the club's happy to swallow the majority of wages that they do, it's really important for us because it saves us money to use elsewhere, and every penny counts at this level. Our budget's a fixed figure. We have no leeway, so it's not a case of someone coming around, he wants 25, 50 quid. If they want that, it's a no. So for us to use the market as we've done is, I think, it's testament to this group and testament to the club. We trust you. You saw it with the kids that we played today. Alex, second start. Ben coming today, didn't look out of place. We have to take these gambles. And it's sink or swim. Greeny said it. He's been there himself and done it. If the boys perform, they play. And there's nothing better for me as an ex-18s manager and for these guys to give the benefit to the kids to say, go and earn your shirt. It's an absolute joy to do that.
Shippo, Greeny, anything to add?
I think, like what Gaff said there, I think with the young players in the loan market, I think I've been at clubs before where it's almost as if it's a use and abuse kind of like way that some clubs do loan markets where they get players in just to cover. Or I think what we've done is we've developed players. I think that's really a testament to us three as well and our coaching staff. Like people like Mams has come in a little bit off the cuff. We didn't really know much about Mams, but we heard good things. Got
You're
him
welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
He's claiming it.
And we got him in. I got him in. And someone like Mams, he's good enough to play the league above, level above it, and go on from there. Do you know what I mean? So people
But not next year.
Yeah, not next year.
One more year.
People like Riley Scott. I just had a conversation with Riley Scott, and he's a player that I really, really like. Got really like takes my eye when he plays, and yeah, he's coming in, and I think we developed him, and hopefully next year he can go back to Dagenham and kick on. So I think we've used the loan market well, like the Gaffer said, but it's a development. It's not like a use and abuse. We just need you for a few games. It's come in and we can help you get better.
Shippo?
Yeah, setting that environment for them to come in and get better. Like if they don't come in and like the environment, they won't bother. They won't put 120% in for us. I think every single player that's come in on a loan, they've all justified in some way, a credit towards the club. So yeah, I think it's been a good environment for them to come and learn and get better. And yeah, it's part of what they do in the change room and what we set as a management team.
Do you think there was maybe a certain level of maybe naivety at the beginning of the season about kind of the players that we brought in, and obviously there was at the beginning of the season maybe a bigger turnover of players than there was towards the middle and end. Do you think there was a bit of naivety that maybe we'll remove this pre-season and at the start of next campaign?
I think we had to. We had to bring in players to have a look at players. I think our knowledge of players around this level, obviously I was there last year that played, but to really take knowledge of players and know their ins and outs, know agents, talk to clubs, I think we were starting from the beginning. So the turnover of players we had at the start was we had to do it to test the water really. So I feel confident now in the players that we've identified and the players that we want to bring in next season. I really feel it might just be one or two tweaks or another loan market. I think we can go from strength to strength with the budget that we are working with. It's one of the lowest in the league. Everyone knows that, but it's what we put together and what we can put together. I think will be strong and be competitive.
And do you think we'll continue to delve into that loan market? Obviously, you said we built the rapport with Watford and Cambridge and even Luton with Pecky. Obviously, was here earlier in the season. Yeah. How important has that rapport been? Even Colchester United with Al in the last few months and stuff like that.
Yeah, we've got no choice. Simple. You know, it's simple. Our loan market transforms our playing squad. You know, like, as Danny said, the budget is our budget. You know, I felt that we needed to go a little bit top heavy. Last year we had sort of 18 players, I think, probably signed on. And of course we're going to make mistakes, and we have made mistakes on certain signing of players. You know, and we've made some great signings as well. You know, that's football. But what I would say is that we have been very fortunate with injuries this year. You know, like I think if you look back, we've had players that missed 2-3 weeks at a time. You know, Pollock's missed the last 3 games. Blanchy maybe missed 2 or 3 on the bounce. But we haven't had, you know, touch wood, we haven't had like players who've been out for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks, which, you know, a club like Concord could potentially sort of cripple you a little bit. So
it's down to Abby as well.
Yeah, it's down to Abby and Siobhan. You know,
working pre-abs and stuff like that before training earlier in the season. So it's, they've done really well as well. Like Abby and Siobhan, they've done super.
Obviously, when you look around behind us, you probably hear them in the background. There's a lot of kids on the pitch.
They're ruining it, mate.
A lot of young girls. You've not been moaning when they've been making a noise this season. But how pleased have you been with the amount of kind of young people, young children who've been in for the game?
You're welcome.
Shippo's fan club that seem to be rocking up for the last few weeks from Supreme.
The Supreme massive attendance.
How pleased have you been with that?
It's massive. Like people like what Shippo does for a living, Supreme, and what I do with Bose, and it's needed for a club like this. It's needed. You need to bring young kids in. He has kids here every week, so hopefully we'll have some more Bose boys down here, and it just makes an atmosphere. And you see the kids running around, it's brilliant. And hopefully, like, I know some of the Bose boys come today, and they'll definitely come to another game because it was such an entertaining game. It was end to end, it was attack, it was defending, and it was real. It's real football. You can get a bit like them boys can get a bit blighted with Premier Leagues and Championship football and Champions League, but this is real football. This is where people need to make a living. So.
Broken over and a smashed up lip in there, you know, from one player, you know. So that's non-league football. You know, Harvey Bradbury's gone out and just bullied us at stages today, and our boys had to stand and be tested. Jaden's come out with blood down his shirt. I know Jaden, handsome boy, like handsome centre half like he is.
I know.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure he'll be happy with me saying it, but you know, that's non-league football. He's got to man up and get on with it.
Obviously, you know, I'm a firm believer at this level, especially you need to build a core of players. So how moving on next season is the aim to keep around the Ryan Blackmans and people like that. Who, you know, obviously Blackie's won Supporters Player of the Year this year. He's had a phenomenal year. His first goal this afternoon as well for Concord. A nice penalty too. Maybe him for next season rather than Danny Green. But how important is it to keep that core group of players to go again next season?
Danny Green stand on penalties. Love you, Danny. You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. Another one I'll reach out to. Mate, as you said, listen, what we do is exactly what the majority of the fans and the committee see. Yeah? Like there's not going to be many differences that we see between players and what's key to this group and what's key as you see as the core. You know, we're no different. We're not geniuses. You know, we just spend a bit of time doing what we like doing. But I think if you ask the committee, the fans, the people that come and watch week in week out, who's the core, we're going to have the same 6-7 players on there. So yes, it's important that we retain them because they're the boys that are going to help strive and have our backs going forward. You know, I said in the interview earlier, you know, it's important that we try and nail these boys down. You know, to be honest, a lot of them will probably try and kick on, and they've got the capabilities of kicking on. So, and as I said over there, they can probably go and earn more money. You know, we need to be a bit dynamic how we box and try and give them, you know, I want them to have one more year with us. You know, trust us to give us one more year. Don't go and chase 50 quid a week for the sake of chasing the money. give us a year. They know the environment, as Shippo said. We create a nice environment. We trust the boys. We respect the boys. It's not a case we have a 25-man squad where one week you might not find yourself out of the squad for 4 weeks and you ain't getting spoken to. It's like that we hear about at other clubs. They come here. It's a family club. People walk in, make their own cups of tea. They walk around, buy the beers after for the boys. We've got a real tight-knit group. So that's what we've got to sell. That's what we need to keep, and that's why that I hope that we'll nail down the core players for next year. Just give us one more year. Just give us one more year.
I think players have to be careful as well with what they do, because you hear so many stories of going to potentially bigger clubs and the management is a disconnect. You have no relationship with the manager, and I think us three have been really open with the group this year. I think they know that how we feel. We don't hide anything away. We tell them about our personal lives, about everything, and it is like one big group. We're all together. So I think you can be, sometimes as a player, you can, like Gary says, you can chase a pound note or chase, and it might not work out for you. So sometimes the players have to box a bit clever as well with what they do. It's not all grass, not wet green on the other side of the ground as well. So yeah, I think we've got a strong position. We've got a strong management group, and I think we do it really well. So whether that be training, I think training's gone up another level this season. I think we've taken training up another level. Next season.
Look at you all claiming individual things. I got mams, I got training. You got the players in the summer. Look at you all.
Next season training will be more intense. We'll be fitter. We'll be stronger. So yeah, I feel really confident.
Shippo, you haven't said much about that.
I need to, mate. It says it all. We're happy men. We've near enough achieved what we've set out to achieve.
Completed it.
Yeah,
completed it. There's a resignation.
National League
Done and dusted.
Yeah, happy men.
40 games, yeah, very happy.
Quickly, just two final things then from me is obviously we've seen we're not the biggest club. We know that, and we're quite embrace that about ourselves, and maybe we've taken the mick of ourselves a bit on social media, but that's my fault. But what the people like Lewis and Jack Jr. and Ewan and people like that who put in so much effort behind the scenes, Josh and Ben who've travelled on work experience with us across the south of the country.
I'll quickly say they're fantastic for the group. The volunteers, the effort they put in. Like Lewis is 24/7 on the phone. I like to say credit to Deck and Brian. They worked tirelessly on this pitch. We've had our moans because we want a perfect bloody surface, and unfortunately, as we found, that these guys putting the effort in as they do, they're doing the best they can, and we did kill it from against Chelmsford over Christmas, but like Greeny said before, we're a little bit of perfectionists, so as soon as it's knackered, we want it fixed ASAP, and unfortunately, it's not going to happen. But no, like everyone behind the scenes, Jack, Jack Senior, as much as he don't like paying out the money, he never fails. This club never fail to pay. It's brilliant. That I've heard about at this level. Like consistently the boys are paid on time. The bonuses are paid. It's credit to everyone. The media team worked tirelessly hard, even though most of them are stuck at university grafting. Yourself,
I don't do much grafting.
No. Well, but mate, seriously, like we're so grateful to have the committee and the volunteers that we've got behind this club, striving to push it forward. And even though he stepped away, I've got to say big thanks to Ant, because people that know the club know what Ant still does, and the effort that guy puts in. It doesn't matter that he might have retired as chairman, as he sees it. For us, he's still an integral part of this club, and he's one of the reasons why this club's obviously still overachieving and doing what he's doing.
Finally then, it's literally going to be a one-word answer, because I know we want to go and start enjoying drink and the presentation.
Yes.
But each of you, what was your most memorable game of the season? Which was it?
First game.
Dorking?
Yeah,
why's that?
Dorking. It was just so much pinning on that game in terms of the big
single swim, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think people doubted us as a management group, as a squad, and it sort of set the tone for our season. There was real togetherness, and yeah, for me it was a massive highlight. I was literally on cloud nine that day. So yeah, for me, Dorking.
Greeny?
For me, Maidstone away. To go to Maidstone away.
That free kick at the end of the first half.
To go to Maidstone away, where I think the season before we were slapped 6-0, league champions, and I personally think dominate the game. And there's a referee decision again that kind of cost us with Miles getting sent off. But I think we should have gone there and seen out the game. Referee decision obviously cost us, but yeah, that was my most memorable game.
Searchy, last word from you.
Both of them were massive. I think for me,
I know what he's going to say as well. I'm hoping he says what I think he's going to say.
Yeah, I don't like
Don't start,
No,
because we'll laugh
I
again.
don't like Billericay.
What happened Tuesday?
I don't like Billericay, and I don't like a certain clown there, but I can't go into that. I don't edit that because he knows who he is. But no, what I would say is I think Dorking was massive, as Shippo said. He's covered it there. It was massive for us to get that result against was probably the league favourites at the time. You know, the start of the season. For us to show that character and the grit, that summed up what it was about. I went home exhausted that night. I was in bed like God knows, you know, because I was.
Well,
so
you didn't even face Temmie's penalty, did you?
No, I don't face him. I can't face him. No, listen, I love the grit. I don't want to watch it, mate, because I have too much pressure on. And today, that to me today is finished a season that was, you know, been tricky for myself, but that finished the season absolutely perfectly for me. And to be 1-0 down, you couldn't have written it in the start. You know, it was unreal. You know, for Greenie to pop up, you're welcome. For me boy Greenie to pop up.
My boy. New Danny Green, not you, mate.
Danny,
Don't claim it.
We've got a team night out. I think he's sleeping over tonight. Danny, we've got to sleep over. But no, for us to finish as we done today, you know, with all the fans here today, it was a brilliant turnout. Massive queues at the bar. It was brilliant. So, them two games for me, Welling today and Dorking.
Well, gentlemen, thank you. 14th in the
you.
league, third best team in Essex, and hopefully a playoff push next season.
Let's go. Brilliant. Yeah. Thank you.
Cheers, fans.